Are the power window switches in your old Porsche working intermittently or not at all? I'm going to show you how to fix that.
Fixity fix!
If one or more switches are working at all and the fault is intermittent, it comes down to maybe bad wiring somewhere, or more probably, more commonly in these old Porsches, just some oxidation and corrosion on the contacts within the switch body. Let me show you an easy fix. It's a good idea to pop off the negative terminal of the battery anytime you're working on electronics. I use a plastic pry bar here to pop off the bezel that holds in the switches. It's usually going to be the switches on the driver's side of the car that act up because those get the most use. It's a good idea to go ahead and do this to all the switches if you do it to one. On the back of the switch plate, you've got this rubber contact housing that attaches. It will only attach one way. Again, I'm using the plastic pry bar here. I'll leave a link to those in the description. So that pops out. There's only one way this switch can go into the wire loom because there are 5 contact posts and 5 contact female receptacles here. This one is not fully open. You can see there are 2 metal blades here holding the switch body in. Just compress them, the switch pops right out. Just to be thorough, I'm going to show you on the passenger side window switch. Again, I will typically take out all 3 of the switches to clean them and refurbish them if I'm doing this. It's pretty easy to do. This just pops out with a plastic blade. And then this rubber contact wire loom interface pries out. I use the plastic pry bar just to avoid doing any damage to it. Then you'll see that there are little metal blades holding the switch body into the switch bezel. Squeeze those little blades, give it a push, pops right out. It is possible to pry these Porsche window switches apart. There's a little plastic retainer clip in here on the body of the switch that you press, holds onto a little pin that's on the switch housing. I avoid taking these apart because this 35, 40-year-old plastic is super brittle and I don't want to break them. I've had really good luck using CRC QD electronic cleaner sprayed into the switch. I usually go into the side that has the cutout on it. Blast the switch full of the stuff. Rock it back and forth a bunch to clean the contacts. Fill it back up, let it soak. I'll blast it out with compressed air to clean out the gunk and dirt. Also spray off the back side. I use a clean brass brush to clean off the contacts. They get oxidized over the many years. You'll notice each switch has cutaways on the contacts. I will carefully run the blade of a utility knife into each one just to open them up a little bit so they make better contact with the connector in the car. I'll do this on the bench so I don't cut myself, but you get the idea. Finally, once you're satisfied that the innards of the switch are clean, it's a good idea to re-lubricate everything with this multi-purpose electronic lubricant from CRC. It goes in the same way that the electronics cleaner went in. Let it fill up. And I usually wipe it all over the plastic too, just to rejuvenate the plastic a little bit. A lot of times this electronic cleaner can be hard on these old plastics and can also whiten the black plastics. So I like to add this oil back. That's another reason why I use General Electronics cleaner instead of contact cleaner. Contact cleaner would arguably do a better job cleaning the contacts that get oxidized inside the switch than electronic cleaner. However, electronic cleaner is not going to be as hard on the plastics. So if I were to take apart the switch, I'd use contact cleaner just on the metal pieces. But since I'm not taking apart the switch, and this usually works just fine on these switches for a long time, I'm using the General Electronic cleaner. All right, this switch has non-destructively been cleaned and lubed, and if you know my channel at all, I'm going to use dielectric grease on these connectors just to prevent future oxidization. Just going to plug it in like that. You can see the oil dripping out of it. Reinstallation is essentially the reverse of removal, but I find a tiny screwdriver makes it go a whole lot more easily. Find the side with the opening here on the switch and install the other side first. You just put it through the switch bezel and then push the metal blade up against the plastic housing of the bezel, and then through this opening push in the metal blade, and that gives you just enough metal blade coming through the back side to finesse it inward with the blade of the screwdriver, and it pops in. In most of these Porsches, the wires point upward for correct installation, and the empty leg points upward here. So this pops in. Make sure to press against the switch and not the bezel when reinstalling the wire loom. If you press against the bezel will just come off and you have to reinstall the switch. This presses inward. So let's give it a test. Ignition to the on position. Up works. Down works. We'll test the driver's side switch as well. Up works. Down works. Driver's window also works. That's job done. Thanks again for watching Fixity Fix. I hope you found this content helpful. If you did, consider giving this video a like. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down button twice to really stick it to us. If you want to see more from us, hit the subscribe button, and better yet, the little bell to be notified when new Fixity Fix content drops. As always, I'll put links to the tools and products that I'm using in this video. If you click those links to buy, it won't cost you anything more, but the channel will get a very small commission that helps us grow. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.